it's tough when you're so you used to work with so Anthony, right? Like you did a show with him. Yeah, man. You've been with everybody. How many people have you worked with?
That one was, I mean, like just on radio, or
right? Like I had a show with.
Pretty much just it was me, Artie Lang, and Anthony, and then it was me and Anthony became the show. Yeah, and then I went out to do Louder with Crowder, so I was there for a while.
And how did that happen? Did he hear you on Anthony?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And then he was going to move to South Carolina, so I took the job at Crowder, and then I left there, and now I do my own show. At
Normal World, which everybody should check it out. Yeah, I've been on it a couple times. It's great. I'm trying to what's the word? Ingratiate. That's a word, right?
I think so.
I don't know. We'll just say it. Ingratiate myself to the conservative crowd. We're in Texas, when in Rome. But also I was talking to you earlier. I like the new crossover of progressives and the MAGA kind of. It's a populist movement,
It is. I think it's the actual people who vote and want to see change as opposed to the parties. Yeah.
Yeah, like the clip of Cenk Uygur. You know Cenk? We were talking about him from the Young Turks.
Young Turks, yeah.
Yeah,
he's been mad at us before when I was on Crowder.
He was mad at you? No, really?
I don't know if it was so much at me, but he was always mad at that show.
Yeah. They talk mad shit. Yeah. Well, sometimes I watch Crowder, and it's like, anytime I watched that, it wasn't for him.
No, I bet it's definitely not something they would click on.
But I do like to check. I like to watch everything. I do consume a lot of media just to kind of get a beat on what's happening. But yeah, I think a lot of the times, if I get the sense that somebody is, I guess playing up a sort of thing, I'm like I like nuance. I like being able to go like, well, maybe the other side has a point. You know what I mean? It's like,
shouldn't you?
Yeah, well, you think that, but a lot of people are like, the other side is evil. Tim Pool comes to mind, where sometimes I watch his clips and it'll be like, Gavin Newsom is literally the devil, and then it's like, I agree with that.
I do agree. I was going to say that's not incorrect.
But at the same time, then it's like, Trump is so the HB1 visa is a perfect example,
right,
of, are we going to see some truth and honesty? And it seems like we have, like, a lot of people have spoken up against, Elon and Vivek.
Yes.
And that whole, what's your take on the whole visa thing? Can you, I guess, do you know what's happening? Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, to an extent. Dude, half these things we'll see. Like, I don't have a lot of faith in anything. Yeah. But I don't know.
So here, let's one of the first clips, actually. Let's watch. Can we pull up what did I send? I think the H1.
This one right here?
Yeah, and I think
641, right?
Yeah, 641.
California describes the anguish of being fired and then forced to train his replacement.
What did they say to you? We are sorry to inform you that as of February 28th, you'll no longer have a job. We're going to outsource your position to this company in India.
To a company in India?
Yes, sir.
Harrison was told he could stay on the job, get paid for 4 more months, and get a bonus if he trained his replacement.
Now I'm being told that I not only going to lose my job, but I also have to train these people to take my job.
Are you angry?
Pissed. That exceeds angry. I'm really not a violent guy. I love people, but I've envisioned myself.
You should Denzel Washington it in Training Day. Make his replacement smoke crack, fail drug tests, steal money from the company. He's like, no, this is what we all do. This is how we run it here.
They murder a couple guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. You want to go back to India? Oh, you want a job?
Yeah, it's fun. Look.
Yeah.
This is how we run it here, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to be a software engineer? This is what it's all about.
Yeah, it's about smoke it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, but it's a crazy thing because it's like the whole visa program is they bring people over here and they hire cheap labor, but Vivek he had a tweet where he was like, you see his tweet where he said that, oh, we can't hire Americans because of if you look, can you find Vivek's tweet about H1, the visa? But pretty much he brought up Boy Meets World, which
Did he really?
was which was great. Yeah, let's watch.
Topanga? Did you just mention Topanga?
Yeah, he was like, every Americans are too busy jerking off to Topanga.
Yeah, that's what it was. I know why I do it. I'm guilty too.
Yeah, it's like that's why we can't hire Americans.
Yeah,
Which
look
I
look at their browser history. Everybody there's just jerking off to Topanga.
Yeah, that's why we gotta import Indians.
Yeah, like they're not going to jerk off to Topanga too. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Well,
maybe. I don't know if they could be into it.
I think so. He could never get a girl in high
him?
school like Topanga. So let's go. Can you scroll
Oh
down?
my God, he did mention Topanga. I didn't see that.
No. He mentioned Boy Meets World, but if we can find the actual.
How do you not mention Topanga? That just shows though the secret perversion everybody has, where he brings up Topanga.
Yep.
Well,
I bet you if you're like, what's the older brother's name? He'd be like, look, I don't know. I don't have the answer to everything.
Yeah, his name's not Topanga.
Yeah.
I mean, Topanga, God, she is still hot. She was at the WWE thing for Netflix. You see that?
Really?
Yeah, she was there. Just her being there. I think she was there with 50 Cent. Man, that was like.
Oh, is she dating Fitty?
No, I mean, I don't think so. I think they were just kind of there.
He's still not over Chelsea Handler, which I don't get.
I cannot believe. I get fucking Chelsea Handler, but I don't get like being obsessed with her.
Yeah, I don't get. Yeah, like if I was Fitty, I wouldn't bring her in a room. Like this shit. This is my
lawyer.
This is my haggard lunch lady.
That's the one that got away.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you could get anybody. Anybody. Nothing against her. I mean, she fucked her way to the top. I don't know if you can swear on here. But she's very
yes, this is
she's very honest about it.
Free speech program. Yeah. No, I mean, good for her. But,
yeah. She's never been like a liar about it. But yeah, I'm just surprised that's the one.
What was the tweet?
It was just he was talking about how he can't hire Americans, or we need the visa program because Americans are too dumb, and it was more an indictment on American culture, which a lot of people got mad. Like, I mean, there has to be something out there on the internet where him, but it's all on Twitter. Yeah, some people feel they were insulted. Yeah, like he insulted Americans.
I mean, we have to have jobs for Americans. That's the thing. We don't need to be bringing in people from other countries and figuring out how to train them, like the guy we just saw, who's basically heartbroken, saying like, all right, I just got to stay here for 4 months and then train some guy.
Exactly.
Like the idea of any one of our leaders trying to outsource before they even get into office is kind of crazy to me. And I like Vivek, but there's a lot of things I don't. And I've been attacked for that because, he was a Trump supporter and all that stuff. And the second you go against that, people will start coming at you. And I do like him. I like a lot of what he has to say. But I think that's stupid. Like, what's the problem? Why are they dumb? Why?
Right.
Is it the education system?
Right.
You've failed. Not him personally, but they're responsible for all of this.
Absolutely.
We're being fed poison. We're been given school that doesn't actually teach us facts about history. We're going through this program that you're just supposed to go into a college and spend all your money to eventually get into a world where you're not allowed to get a job because it's being outsourced to somebody who's supposedly smarter than you.
Exactly. And it's the opposite of America First. It's like, and it's interesting to see people actually, speak out on that because a lot of the people, like when we talk about Democrats, a lot of people throw around the word cult, and it's like, they're on a cult. Biden is
same with Trump.
They are, yeah. It's like, okay, so you know what? Can you go to one of the links I sent you with Trump, the Trump?
There were so many Topanga pictures next to Vivek. Did you see that? Sorry.
Yeah. Very well. So yeah, this is Trump talking about. This was his stance on the visa program.
Okay.
First of all, I think, and I know the H-1B very well, and it's something that I frankly use, and I shouldn't be allowed to use. We shouldn't have it. Very, very bad for workers. And second of all, I think it's very important to say, well, I'm a businessman, and I have to do what I have to do, and it's sitting there waiting for you, but it's very bad. It's very bad for business in terms of, it's very bad for our workers, and it's unfair for our workers, and we should end it.
So So
He's guest hosting.
come on down.
What do you bid on this golden toilet?
Yeah.
But that's Trump doing that. That's classic prime Trump. That is why he won.
Yes.
Because he was saying back in 2016, we haven't seen that version of Trump, I think, since. You know, we get like a watered down. It's kind of like when comedians are past their prime and they're doing an impersonation of what they used to be.
Yes.
That's what Trump is doing right now, where he used to say base shit like that. We talk about the Iraq war and people are like, whoa, a conservative is anti-war. He completely changed, shifted the whole conversation.
Absolutely. He's very casual now and very, I shouldn't say casual, but very, I don't know, he's subdued.
Yeah.
And I think,
well, when you get shot at.
yes. Yeah, that's the thing is, once you get part of your ear blown off, you're like, maybe I should watch what I'm saying. But I think that's the thing I liked about him though. Like when he did get shot and when he did, like, if you get shot by somebody and then you almost get shot again, I feel like you're doing something right.
Right.
Because somebody's trying to get rid of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that makes you get my vote.
Right. I think there's something there. There's some there for sure.
Yeah.
And nobody shot at Obama.
I mean, I'm sure they wanted to.
Oh, yeah. No, I am surprised, by the way.
So am I. Like, I mean.
How did that not happen?
I don't know.
If you go back and watch 50 years of stand-up, we were all pretty sure the first black president was going to get taken out. And then he just didn't.
Yeah.
And maybe he just had so much charisma, they were like, I can't.
Yeah. I can imagine. Well, a lot of, quote, racist people voted for Barack. So I like to think that he's that charismatic.
I know, I did.
You're like, I voted for him twice.
So I did.
I gave that nigga 2 chances.
Yeah. I did too. And I hate that statement. Like, I feel like I can't make it as a white guy because it sounds like you're wanting approval. You're like, no, I voted for him twice, guys. Right, friends? You want to play ball?
But a lot of people did. A lot of people voted for him twice and then voted for Trump.
I did.
Absolutely. And instead of calling, that's what I never understood. You know, instead of calling those people racist, it's like, did they become racist over 8 years? Or was it that they were penalized for not having insurance and that didn't help them? You know, it's like there are problems that they had that made them go to Trump. And I always found that to be like a very a bad faith take where it's like they're racist. And that's also how they like, you know, black people, we're really like easily in this box. We're starting to break out of it. But we're in this box of black Democrat good, you know, Democrat good. And it's like, you know, I've had several conversations with older black people of a certain age and they love Biden. And I'm sitting there like, he's like, oh, he's the good white man. You know what I mean? It's like, what do you love about him? And they never have anything of substance. It's always, well, you know, he put a lot of black people in positions of power, right? Like judges. He had a lot of, I think that was a thing that he did.
Right.
But this is all superficial stuff.
Well, it's to paint him as not being racist, which he legitimately is, if you break down his past.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think it's odd because he was kind of the bargaining chip for the first black president to be like, you take out him, you're going to get Biden. You know?
Yeah.
But no.
He was the insurance.
And I guess, yeah, it depends on who you talk to because I remember talking to a lot, like I used to work off of Woodward in Detroit, and it was before, like, you know, obviously like the Renaissance that they're pretending that it is, but it would depend on who you talk to, and a lot of people, like, they did want police in their community. They were bothered by the fact that that wasn't there. They were part of these more like right-leaning issues where they actually did, like, they just wanted to see some kind of change where they were protected. They, like, equal rights, all that stuff. And I think the problem is Biden looks to be like, okay, I'm friends with Obama. That's how it comes off. Like, right. And he's not. Like, I just don't see why he's even there. Like, he's the biggest puppet, and we've been listening to now for the last 4 years. They're coming out going, yeah, we kind of knew he had dementia the whole time and really wasn't running the country. Sorry about that. While we were being lied to and being attacked if you even questioned it.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
And now they're going like, yeah, you're right. Every day was a nightmare. He doesn't even know who he is.
Yeah.
He'd have to be briefed, and they would just keep it pleasant, so he thought he was doing a good job.
It's it's so dishonest. Also, you remember the documents thing, right? You remember that with Trump? We were so mad at Trump having documents.
Yes.
And then Biden had documents. And then do you remember why Biden didn't get in trouble for it? It was something along the lines of somebody, they were like, he's just an old guy. We can't go
You're
after
saying it
him.
would have been too mean?
Yeah, it would have been too mean to go after him.
Yeah. It's just,
they knew this. They had this information.
well, and they're like, we found some documents in Mar-a-Lago, and then it turns out they didn't. And then they go into Biden's garage, and they're like, there's a Corvette and 1 million documents.
Yeah, and Biden was like, but the door was locked or something.
Right.
He was like, it was in my garage, so it's all right.
And then it turned out it was okay for them to actually keep some of these documents. And it's like, what are you guys doing? You're lying to the American public.
They are. It is and so that's the cult on the left. The people who looked at Biden, they watched CNN, and I don't blame the people. It's the dishonest Morning Joes of the world.
Well, dude, if you turn on CNN, you will hear the word Nazi so much that it's staggering. It's like there's what Nazis?
But they're not. You call him a Nazi, but then cut to Obama hanging out with Trump. Did you see that? Like just having a good time.
That was so adorable.
Yeah, it was.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Like, the only real Nazis in America in the last 20 years were playing basketball in Venice Beach in American History X. Like, it's barely a thing. You know what I mean? There's probably 12 actual Nazis in the United States.
Yeah. They're probably stoked on the publicity.
Yeah, if you, Biden.
Yeah,
if you look at
pretty good.
Biden, Obama and Trump, Jimmy Carter. Yeah, so they're just having a good time.
They're just
man.
laughing at his corpse.
Yeah, look at that. They look like best friends. Like, how do you go from he's a fascist to, well, he's a hilarious. He's not that bad. But I will say on the flip side, what do we expect him to do? Was he supposed to like fight him? You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like, you got to be a little bit cordial.
Well, and I think if you're at that level of elite, no matter who you are, you probably get along and you realize how the game is played.
Yeah.
I don't think they hate each other.
No.
I really don't.
No, I don't think so. But I will say that, but the Biden, this idea of the cult of personality, there is a both sides to it, and the H1, the thing that's happening right now with MAGA is interesting because, I wonder if they're gonna call Trump on that. Like we just saw Trump in 2016 say that it wasn't a good idea and explained why. But now his position, if you've seen it, he's like, oh no, actually, I've never had a problem with it and we just need to reform. That is a textbook case of a politician flipping. Why did he flip? Could it have anything to do with Elon? That's the thing, is like Elon likes that. Trump said he was against it, but now that Elon's on his team, now he likes it. I feel like this is why we needed to build that wall, because we got immigrants coming over here.
Yeah, I don't think any Indians have come to Texas for tech jobs. I'm sure it has nothing.
Have you been to an HEB?
Yeah, no, I'm sure it has nothing to do with Elon.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't make. And I don't think anyone is all good or all bad, right?
Neither do I.
There's a lot of things that I do appreciate about Elon, but the idea that a billionaire has his own interests, at heart above regular people, that sounds right to me. That doesn't sound like crazy.
Yeah, I do like Elon. I have a lot of respect for him. But if you read his book, the through line is I was bullied. And that kind of scares me to see where this goes. Because
Interesting.
he's smart enough to trick, I think, anyone.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we're building rockets to Mars. Let's see who we send there. It's just, I think what he's done is amazing, a lot of the stuff that he's done. But you're right. He's the one who's using a lot of these tech jobs that are coming over. He's obviously in Trump's ear.
Right.
And now all of a sudden you're trying to bring in a policy that I think is absolutely the antithesis of what your voters voted for.
Absolutely.
But because you're right, they're so enthralled with the guy and they don't ever want to admit if there's an error that he makes, nothing gets changed. And I think people have to start calling out the politicians. Like, this isn't a football team.
Yeah.
This is your life. This is money. This is what gets taken out of your taxes. This is why, you go back to even Biden with healthcare. I think there was a lot of stuff there, or Obama with healthcare. I think there was a lot of legitimate things there to talk about the way that we deal with medicine in this country. Yes. And everybody wants to treat it like a big business. And I think the idea that you could be a Christian conservative, but also believe that healthcare for anybody is a big business is psychotic to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I don't understand that. And I think if you ask most people their honest reaction, a lot of conservatives, I've talked to them, and they agree that healthcare is a problem. That's why everyone was on the side of Luigi. You see, it's funny how like,
right.
You know, it's like, obviously you shouldn't,
gun a man down.
Yeah, obviously, if you can avoid it, listen, and I want to talk to the people out there. If you can avoid it, don't.
Usually if he's turned around, he's not provoking you.
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, how many more CEOs are going to have to be killed before companies are like, oh, shit. Do you know what I mean?
What's amazing is he gets shot and they see it happen, and then they're like, we better start cutting the funding for these Malibu houses that are going up in flames.
Yeah.
Oh my
it's like
God.
State Farm and everything.
Yeah, it's like, did you not see what just happened?
Incredible. Insane.
But I think they did that before the Luigi thing happened. And then Luigi thing happened, and now this fire started, and now they're probably like, oh, damn.
We should maybe reverse this.
Yeah.
Well, the State Farm, the insurance companies, they knew that this was going to happen, right?
Yes.
That's why they like canceled it. And I just don't understand, like, why that is, because I remember I watched Jon Stewart's takedown of Luigi, and also we had a couple other terrorist attacks that happened, and he lumped Luigi into that. And I remember not necessarily agreeing. Obviously, Luigi's a murderer, but in the sense of it, those other attacks were, well, I guess every terrorist, there's no such thing as a senseless attack, because if you're a terrorist, there's a reason that you're doing that. You know?
Virgins.
You want to get. It's so funny to picture some guy that never had sex before. The only way to have sex is to give yourself up to Allah.
Yeah, I think all terrorists should have to marry a virgin and then deal with them for 5 years and be like, you really want 16 of these or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah. It's this is the State Farm announced in March that it would. Yeah, it stops coverage for 72,000 home and apartment policies in California. That's insane. And then these fires come.
The point of insurance is because you're getting it because you are in an area that's affected by these things that could potentially happen. So for a company to go, hey, you know the things that potentially happen that you bought insurance for, we're going to take it away, is absolutely evil.
Incredible.
That's why you get insurance. It's like getting a car insurance, and they're like, oh, we don't do accidents. We just do everything else.
Yeah.
It's crazy that it's come to this.
Yeah, and I just feel like this is one of the examples where you kind of need the government to step in, right? And think, because like what, and that's my problem with, unfettered capitalism is, well, you get people making moves, putting profit over people. So sometimes you do need the government to say, hey, stop that, right? It's like, it can't, but you don't want them to go too far, but I don't understand how we're supposed to stop these criminals, because that's what it is. They're criminals. They're protecting themselves when they should be protecting people, and people have been paying in to these insurance companies for years.
Oh, well, and then you have lobbyists, you have people that take care of, I mean, you're talking about...
Should be illegal.
Absolutely. You're talking about, like look at Palin's house. It's
Sarah
like
Palin?
Yeah. It's like you have this like $30 million home, but you're supposed to be a public servant while your husband sneaks off to go get gay hammermen from an abandoned school bus.
Wait, what?
I just have a theory that he's a very big homosexual, and he was attacked by a male hooker that he hired.
Yeah,
I don't mean it as a negative.
No.
The attack was bad. I admit it.
A handyman fantasy.
Yes,
just happened to get caught. Took
That's
a hammer, hit him
hey,
in the head.
Well, he was also in a car accident with a Jeep, and they wouldn't identify the guy he was with. I think he's always just with a whore.
he's a clumsy guy.
Yeah, because then his wife's getting like fake tits, like, huh, Paul? And he's just like, no, I know.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
hey,
not a penis. I don't know
I'm
what
sorry.
gonna
Yeah,
do
dude, are
with
there
it.
balls on them titties?
Well, I think that's another Pelosi, all those people that they trade stock.
It
Like,
should be
that should
completely
be,
outlawed,
right.
especially after we saw with Pfizer and J&J and everything that happened during the
Oh, yeah.
pandemic.
Yeah.
All these people made a ton of money off of scaring the shit out of this entire country.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, it was the greatest wealth transfer, the
Yes.
COVID, right? Like during that time, as more rich people literally got richer, and it's just sad, man. I feel like that's definitely why I'm happy to see this coalition building of MAGA and Bernie. Bernie even tweeted in support of the MAGA base, saying that, hey, Elon is wrong. This visa program actually hurts Americans. That is what we need more of. And they don't want that, though, because then, it's a problem for the establishment, meaning across the board. I think that's a good thing, but the idea that you can't sit down and agree with somebody on the other side is ridiculous. I mean, as I remember learning about something called the Rainbow Coalition.
Yeah.
That was literally the Black Panthers teaming up with literal racists, not like not like fake kind of, they voted conservative, but they are actually like pitchfork holding, like cross burning people, but they were able to build a coalition because they were getting fucked so hard.
Well, they realized that a lot of the same issues they had were affecting both of their communities. And when you take color out of it, where you're then, because that was the whole idea. I mean, it goes back, it's such a cliche analogy, but it's true because it is divide and conquer.
Yes.
And that's a perfect example of it. And then when you recognize it, that's when you can actually come together and you don't just let the elites kind of control everything.
Absolutely.
And I mean, when you look at the Black Panthers, they were dealing in these terrible communities. They were coming back from Vietnam. A lot of them were called baby killers. A lot of them didn't want to go because, it wasn't a war that you should have gone to. There's so many things about it. The other side had the same deal. And then you're being screwed by your government. You're not being taken care of. You realize, like, it pushes now even to Los Angeles. Like, how do you become, there's conspiracies, sure. But isn't it a bit odd that you would cut $400 million or something, they're now finding out, from a fire budget days before this happens?
It's corruption.
And then
It's so obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
then that
ridiculous.
woman who looks like fucking Demolition Man, fucked Urkel, just goes to Ghana.
Wait, can we pull up a picture of the governor?
Yeah, I think
the mayor of
Metzger
LA.
put it best as chocolate rain. But but her, like, she just went to Ghana knowing, by the way,
She knew.
we're now aware, that there was going to be fire issues because people were starting them.
Wow.
Is what they're saying, at least, and that they knew that there was this like windstorm coming, essentially.
Yeah.
And then she took off to Ghana.
These are the people, but I'm supposed to be happy because she's a Black woman.
Yeah,
right?
why would that matter?
It doesn't, and you're right, the superficial part. And I'm just tired of Black people getting caught up in the superficial. Oh, they have the same skin color as me, so it's like, no, look at the city, California. We can't blame Republicans.
No, and if you want to look at, she's teaming up with Gavin Newsom, who's white. They're both garbage.
Yeah,
I mean, Gavin Newsom is a monster. I don't understand why people look at him like he's done that. Like that's who people wanted to be the presidential candidate.
Oof. Now he was
American Psycho?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I call him, Patrick Bateman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, his.
He has no. So look at those eyes. There's
he's
nothing
yeah,
in there, but
there's
devil.
nothing behind it at all.
He would try to put a cat into an ATM for sure.
Oh yeah, he probably microwaves kittens every morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's his coffee in the morning. That's how he wakes up.
That's his coffee.
Don't talk to me till I've murdered a kitten.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how he wakes up in the morning. Yeah, let me kill a fucking bunny. But
Yeah, he just breaks a puppy's neck and drinks the blood of it. Off to work.
Off to.
Oh, I spilled some on my tie. Oh, God.
Yeah, these are the people, and that was the best the Democrats had because he is unfortunately a smooth talker. You know, it's as slick as his hair. The way he's able to like, because I've seen him go on Fox and go toe to toe with whoever it is, and
he's good. But you know, it's interesting when talks to real people though, because even that very quick clip of when he's stopped by a woman on the street, going, "Hey, what are you doing for us? We seriously need help."
Can we pull that?
Play that. It's amazing. It's a man pretending. Just you can watch.
Yeah, let's.
This one?
Yes.
Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the call.
Why is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now. And it's to immediately get reimbursements. And
he's on
Instagram.
Instagram.
And to help you. I'm devastated for you.
Yeah, we
I'm
should
so sorry.
Yeah,
Especially for your
can we
daughter.
see what his phone? Let's go back.
Cool watch, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah,
He
it's
bought
a
that with taxpayer money. You know?
Awesome flex.
Yeah.
Thanks for rolling up your sleeves.
He's got his aviators.
Yeah. What the fuck, dude?
He's ready
Just
for some
Top
photos.
Gun
This
through
guy
the-
just fucked.
yeah.
Bro, he is a maverick. Yeah.
I just love. I'm on the phone with the president. Can I see? Well, not right now.
Nah, yeah. Literally, I'm like, he doesn't know what literally means.
I didn't say what president.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the president of Hertz Rental Cars.
I'm disputing some charges.
The town is burning. And he's like, hey,
He's like, this is a 3126 on my car.
yeah. So his phone, he's not on the.
Yeah, can we zoom in and see? Because if
It
you
won't
hit,
let me zoom in anymore, and it's like pixelated. But those are definitely like that's not what the phone call app looks like
No.
on an iPhone at all. It's
Yeah,
not
so-
Instagram either, but it's not a phone call app. For
He's
sure.
not on phone. So right then and there, talking to a normal human, his first impulse was to lie. He said
Yes,
he's
yeah.
literally on the phone with Biden. And then it turns out he wasn't. And then he can't even. Are you talking to him, or are you walking around trying to have service? Is this like the new Verizon guy where
Right.
it's like, can you hear me now?
yeah, and people say, you know, like, oh wow, a politician lied, big deal. It's like, no, it is a big deal because that's the exact moment where you shouldn't be.
Right.
Like you can
Yeah.
be honest with somebody and say, this is what I'm trying to do during a crisis. And instead he's like, well, I'm talking to Biden right now. Like, also, let's say you were talking to Biden. What's he going to do about it?
Yeah.
He doesn't know there's a fire.
No, he doesn't even know he's still president.
Have you ever tried to talk to a 130-year-old on the phone, dude? It's impossible.
Yeah, we'd know if you were talking to Biden because he'd just be like, sir. Sir.
Sir, your name is Joe. Joe Biden. You. That's
Yes.
you.
Governor of California. It's a state.
Yeah. No, it's not Hunter. No, I'm not calling from jail. It's not Hunter. I don't need bail money. I'm the governor.
All right, you're in trouble again.
Are you meeting somebody at the Beverly Hilton to get our China money? No, I need...
No, well, I do kind of feel responsible for these fires, though, a little bit, because I would pray to God that my ex would burn in hell.
Well, somebody...
Tre Stewart, come on.
No, she's a nice lady.
Is he okay? No.
You're gay.
Whoa!
Gay joke.
Yo.
Yay. Oh, man, that's good. Yeah,
Is there
we
a
need
way to,
one.
when you edit this, go Landau 1?
The name of this episode is Landau Destroys.
Yeah,
Tre.
Landau destroys
Eviscerates.
I love those videos, Destroy, like Ben Shapiro destroys. It's
Oh, yeah.
always whoever, like, progressives. It's so, like, tilted to,
Have
like...
you ever had the confidence to put that on your own video?
Oh, no. I mean,
No.
I wish. Like, it would be so funny.
I would feel so gross being like comic destroys heckler and I'm loading my video up. I'm like, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I destroyed him.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
I
thank
hope you
God.
did. Yeah. No, well, you destroyed that couple. We did some shows and they got up, and there was a couple that got up and left, and it's so funny because they were Christian,
Yeah.
and which it goes back to kind of how the woke right, where like these people, they just get offended, but you were just talking about just real shit, and people are mad at honesty.
No, and you had set a precedence for me to go up and do that, which was like it was the perfect warm up into just being honest and talking about what's going on.
Right.
So it's like that's what I kind of thought they wanted by watching what you were doing on stage. And it's usually what I do is I'm honest and then I mix it with stories and jokes and whatever. But yeah, I don't know what it said in that moment that set them off, but it might have had something to do with the fires because I like to test an audience sometimes. Yeah. And that's why I was opening with like my wife's birthday's coming up. I'm gonna save up $50,000 and buy her Malibu. And it's like it's just to see how they'll react or if they'll squirm. And it's like
great, yeah.
It's not from like a hateful place. It's just I want to see.
Yeah.
But in that, I think I was just talking about how I do believe in God. I just don't know if He still believes in us.
Which is a great line.
And I kind of saw them a little bit like getting pissed. Mm-hmm. And it's like, but I'm trying to make the point of like, how far have we taken this? Mm-hmm. Like we're really seeing some things going on that I don't know. It worries me. It makes me question faith. And I think you're supposed to question your faith.
Absolutely.
I think anybody who doesn't and is just this like lockstep believer in absolutely anything, whether it's government, religion, religious people, because I believe in God. I don't believe in mega churches that take all your money. And
right.
Then, I think there's a special line in hell for those people.
Yes.
Like, are those mega churches going to LA right now and helping the people?
No. They're probably like locking their doors.
No. Joel Osteen isn't like, we should go help. He's like, see if you can hide more money in the bathroom walls.
Yeah.
So we can.
It's criminal. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a healthy thing. A healthy dose of skepticism is necessary with, whether it's politics or religion. And I think those people, that couple that got up, they're not, they were uncomfortable with their own doubt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like their faith, because it's a healthy relationship with God, or spirituality or whatever you believe in, is a little bit of, well, I'm not sure. That's what faith is. And so it's funny for them. They just probably got like a weird feeling, but it's their own.
Mm-hmm.
And I share, like, I'm vulnerable enough to share and try and make it funny. What happened to my dad? What happened to my mom as a result of it? It was like my dad got Agent Orange, Vietnam. The VA never took care of him. He lost everything. My mom committed suicide because of it. So I have these like reasons to be very, very skeptical and why I don't believe any of these people. So I also have these reasons that when I pray, even though I still have faith, and that's just my own opinion, aren't I allowed to say like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Can I question? The idea of going like he has a plan, I'm like, well, this is a shitty plan. Can I say it's a shitty plan?
Yeah.
And I think that you should be able, especially in comedy, you should be able to question all these ideas.
You have to.
The idea of being afraid of everything, like even afraid at the end of your life, I think being a pussy and not saying anything about how you actually feel is no way to, it's not courageous. I don't think that's how anybody would want you to live.
No. I think there's with religion, there's definitely, because I grew up in the church too.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
there's a certain level of. I remember literally a pastor one time giving a sermon, and he's like, don't question anything. God wants you to do this, and don't question and shut up. And I even sitting in church, I forgot how old I was, but I was like, wait, I can't question things,
right?
That doesn't sound.
Well, what's free will then?
Exactly. Yeah.
Isn't that the deal? Like you gave us free will, which allows us to question things and do whatever we want, and that might send me to hell.
Yeah.
So why are you telling me I can't do that?
Exactly.
It's either we're robots that have to do exactly what you say, but you didn't choose that. You chose it, so we all have free will.
Yeah. It's kind of weird. It's this double speak kind of like.
Yeah.
Well, which is it? Do we have free will,
or is there a plan?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Like it's either chaos,
right?
Or it's not.
Yeah, and I think that makes people uncomfortable. The ones that really believe that, but there's not enough self-reflection in their own faith, which shows you how weak a lot of people's faith really is. It's like you don't really believe this if all it takes is a comedian on stage making jokes,
making a comment that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. Also, like if you're a Catholic, what are you going to pretend like the Pope didn't protect pedophiles? and rearrange them. And I mean, the Vatican. By the way, the Vatican is you're a Catholic, right?
Yes.
Bro, have you been to the Vatican?
No, I understand it's made of gold and looks like Oz. Like, not
What
the
is
prison.
this?
Well, depending on who you are there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. What?
it looks more like Oz juvenile.
Yeah. Pay no
Yeah.
attention to the man fucking a kid behind the curtain.
Yeah. And he just comes out and he's just not special. Just a thin mustache.
But this is a part of religion that kind of makes me a little weird. It makes me feel icky because it's like, why are we giving? God needs all this. You're doing all this for God. It's its own city, the Vatican. It's its own country, I think.
And
right?
it's paved with gold.
Ridiculous.
Why do you need it?
You don't. And
Yeah.
the idea of worshiping Christ, it's just so the polar opposite of the way so many people take this.
Right.
That's why I was watching, like, I bring up Joel Osteen because the clips bothered me for 15 years. But he bought a Bentley, and it's like he had it on stage. So you're looking at a Bentley in the middle of a sermon, right? And he's going, Jesus wants to open the door to his heart, and then he's opening the door of a Bentley. If you can find it, I'm like, you couldn't be a bigger piece of shit right
That's
now.
amazing.
Like, you bought a
Oh, my
$250,000 car.
He gets in his private jet. Jesus wants you to soar.
He
Like
wants
an
you to go-
angel.
Remember, the sky is the limit.
With Jesus. Yeah, but people like these are criminals. Just like, Joel Osteen is a Gavin Newsom. In a way, they're all cut from the same cloth, where they don't care about people. They're just kind of playing this role.
Well, and in Detroit, there were a lot of churches I would go to downtown, because I was in certain meetings for recovery. And depending on the church and the program, a lot of people really had this deep faith.
Yeah.
And then there were also people that were, they were, what do you call it? Like, not front door pastors, but like basically just like street con artist pastors who had these massive churches in Detroit. Yeah,
right. Yeah.
And it's yeah. I sold luggage in an upscale luggage store in the hood. It was weird. We had to close by 5 so they didn't kill us as part of the insurance policy. But
oh my God, really? That's
yeah,
so funny.
but the number of preachers that would come in, like you would get, like, let's say you would have a preacher, or even like the Four Tops, for example.
Yeah,
they would buy pretty reasonably priced luggage and decent people. And then you would get a couple preachers that came in, and it's like, I need an attaché case for my Bible. So they're buying like this,
wow,
$1,800 Toomey, and then they're buying a Mont Blanc pen, and I'm like, this is like a really poverty-stricken area, and you're pulling up in this Benz that you bought with their money that they think they're putting towards your church.
Yeah.
So you can buy something to carry around a Bible in, it goes against everything that you're supposed to be taught by this.
Like, they think being a pastor is just being a rapper.
Yeah, yes, and it's like they believe that. They're like, God wants the pastor to be taken care of.
Yeah, God wants me to flex.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why one of my favorite movies ever is Don't Be a Menace to South Central.
Yeah.
And you have the
Yes.
pastor who's just like, don't ask, no questions. He's like, don't ask why the preacher has a nice car. Don't ask why.
Message.
Yeah, he goes, yeah. It's like, don't ask why he has a nice house. And then he's got the toothpick. He's like, pass the plate around. Pass the plate.
Yeah, it is a joke at this point. I mean,
yeah, see that?
Pastor Joe. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that's
Wow.
it. That's what you were talking about. He was standing.
Okay, so it was a Ferrari.
Yeah, I couldn't
Ferrari.
find sorry, that was loud. I couldn't find the exact video, but this is a list of his 20 cars with the most expensive one.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
So he has a Ferrari 458 Italia, which is $270,000. Like Jesus drove.
Jesus would want the wind in his hair. Well, yeah.
Jesus was like Adam Sandler. Every time they made a movie, or every time they made a good move, they sent. He just showed up in your driveway.
Yeah.
Like, look at that buggy.
Yeah. No. Jesus was just. Oh, well, you got to say what you will about Jesus, but he put his boys on, just like Adam Sandler.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he put his followers. Wait, Jesus was the first influencer.
He was.
When you think about it.
Yeah.
No, but he wasn't about. In fact, he was. he was the opposite of this. This is what I don't understand about this billionaire worship. This thing of rich people are better than us and we should listen to them, going with like Elon and whoever it is. It's just, Mark Zuckerberg, all these people. It's like, we're supposed to listen to them because they have money. And it's like, that's not, especially if you're a person of faith, that is the opposite of what Jesus, like healthcare is a perfect example of like, Jesus would want people to be covered, right? Like he's not, Jesus wouldn't worry about the, profit margins.
No, he never laid his hands on a leper and was like, do you have an HMO?
Yeah, exactly. And it's criminal. And I feel like that's an area where I'd love to see MAGA and the progressives really come together, because it's an issue that I think when people throw around words like socialism and blah, 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 and it divides us, but we all agree this is bad. I mean, it's bad enough that people are shooting, and you can call him crazy, Luigi, but like his manifesto, I don't know if you read it.
Yeah.
But it was pretty good. I mean, it was some bars.
Yeah. I mean, most manifestos, oddly, pretty readable.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you read the Unibomber, or not Unibomber.
His was
him?
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Unibomber's was good. Oh my God.
And you're like, no, he was kind of spot on about the internet. Now, the nail bomb at the post office, not the best way to go about it, but I do appreciate a lot of your ideas. It's like you just went a little too far.
You got to separate the art from the artist.
Well, that's true. Yeah, excellent writer. Not a great bomb maker. I mean, they just go off in the post office before it even got us.
Yeah, no, he definitely didn't put in his 10,000 hours. In terms of bomb making, he could have been a little bit better.
He was. I believe he went to Harvard, if I remember.
Right, he did. And they made, like, he was in a program
it was
that,
Ted
like,
Kaczynski, right? Yeah, Kaczynski.
He was in a program, I believe, that they did drugs. LSD, right? So they created the Unibomber, which, I don't want to get all Kurt Metzger.
No, but like, he's right about a lot of stuff.
Oh, my God, yeah. It's too much stuff that he's, the guy, he is on fire always. But a lot of what he says, when you look it up, it's kind of like, it's kind of like Alex Jones, where it's like, this is ridiculous. This has to be made up. And then you look it up and I'm like, oh, wow, not only is this right, but like several people other people have talked about this for years. I mean,
well, it's like MK Ultra. I didn't believe it was real. And then you're like, oh my God, it is.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't even know if like Jack Ruby really believed he didn't do that.
Wow.
And there's all these crazy stories though with MK Ultra that comes out later, and it's all real, and a lot of it's with LSD. And I did a ton of LSD, but it's like
really
tons.
Did you ever like talk to God or see like have a religious experience, or was it all just kind of like fun?
Not on LSD. Okay. Peyote.
Oh, you did peyote?
Yeah.
Wow, what was that like?
It was intense.
Yeah.
It was very intense, but very, it was almost like you're going to a different plane of existence, where with acid, you still know you're on Earth. I don't know. It's like a different part of your mind wakes up. Acid, I always loved. I mean, I would take it all the time, but it was just fun. Mm-hmm. It was never like I should live in a forest and make bombs.
Yeah, I think he might have been predisposed to that, and then the acid probably just made it worse.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I think acid and mushrooms, why they are effective is they make you see the world for as ridiculous as everything actually is. Like, you can stop and look around and just realize everything's kind of funny and pointless.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they're prescribing mushrooms now for even depression.
And it works.
And stuff. Yeah, it's very effective. It's ketamine, it's all this stuff. And I was treating my own depression when I was young with that stuff.
Right.
So I'm like, it's good you caught up to the research I did in the 90s to realize that helps.
You're a pioneer.
Yeah, I know, right?
You were ahead of the
doctor.
Yeah.
Bit of a scientist.
No, Dr. Dave, that's what they call you, man.
What they do. Yeah, and I think
you were ahead of the curve with that. I mean, a lot of, and now it's funny to see people actually admit, like the establishment admit that, oh, maybe there's some truth behind this, because for a long time they buried that information. Same thing with hemp, right? It's like hemp was used, and it was actually like a great thing and cheaper, and then billionaires buried it, or rich people buried it.
It was to help the alcohol industry.
Hemp, yeah,
yeah,
right, yeah, exactly. And so that's corrupt. And same thing with mushrooms. There are things out there that actually can help you, but the pharmaceutical industry, they're not going to make the money that they make, which always brings me back to, this thing where I'm supposed to trust Pfizer, the people who put cancer in baby powder.
Yeah,
like that's I'd say that's who made a safe and effective. Yeah, I'm not saying it's not safe and effective, but I'm just saying like it's going back to what we said, a healthy dose of skepticism.
Well, and it's also companies that have now made harder drugs to alleviate the problems they caused with hard drugs.
Yeah, right.
And I worked at a pharmacy during like the Oxy boom.
Oh,
and
really?
It was like before it all came. It was like when you could walk into a doctor's office and they'd have Oxy pens, and there were sales reps. Like, it wasn't demonized yet.
Wow, it really was.
Yeah, but it was just heroin. And it was just
prescribed.
Yeah, and Vicodin, and I got addicted to it on accident. Not Oxycontin, but Vicodin. A lot of it I got addicted to on purpose, but Vicodin specifically was because I broke my knee and they overprescribed me. They gave me like 120 pills. Oh, so by the time I was done taking them on this regimen, I had never been that sick in my life coming off of something. Besides, alcohol was close, but so they have caused a lot of problems over the years. And then now the problem is people really need the drug, can't get it because it's underprescribed, because they don't want to go back to what they caused.
Right.
So you have people turning to the streets, and it's not everyday people. It's not just drug addicts dying of fentanyl overdoses. It's babies. It's kids who pick up a bag. It's soldiers that just want to, alleviate their pain, who can't get the proper prescription from the VA.
Right.
That's what's killing people. So it's like they completely are now overcorrecting a situation to cover their ass. And that's why, to look at something like the entire pandemic, my mom was an RN. I don't know much, obviously about medicine because I never studied it, but I did know that a vaccine being made very fast seemed off to me. And then to have it politicized, and especially to have race thrown into it, was disgusting to me. So I'm like, I'm not going to take it. You can call me an anti-vaxxer. I have all the other ones because I believe they work.
Right.
But it's like that just seemed so forced and so dangerous. And I have way too many friends now that aren't alive that have had that shot.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, even getting it was shady.
Really?
Because you went to like a CVS and they like took you in the back where like the manager's office is, and they put you in this weird caged off area. Yeah, yeah. And then you have to hang out in the CVS in case you drop dead.
Really?
Right next to a fucking White Claw display.
Yeah.
That's the last thing you see before you die of an aneurysm is mango White Claw. It was weird as shit, dude. Yeah.
But they have to keep you there because you might drop dead.
Because you might die.
That's so wild.
Yeah, it's weird.
See, that's not how a vaccine should work.
No.
You go about your day now.
Here's a lollipop. See you.
Man.
Shouldn't be like, you're going to need to stay here over by the lady alcohol.
Oh,
and then we're just going to check your heart every few minutes. Like my friend Craig, 40 years old, lifting weights, perfectly healthy, had a daughter, son on the way, and he's just working out. Dude, he was not into anything. Stare at nothing. He had cleaned his life up. Heart attack, drops dead. Was forced to get vaxxed by work. Ric Carlo Flanagan, who was a comedian and one of my good friends.
Ric Carlo was a beast.
And
he was a beast.
Yeah, and Ric Carlo was a good friend of mine. And even when that happened, me and him had a bit of, and I'm not saying that's what did it, but I guarantee you that's what did it.
Right, yeah.
They made him get vaxxed so much and so many boosters so he could go and do extra work and to be on some different... Because he was starting to get lines.
He was working.
Yes, he was getting lines.
That's what it
like,
was.
What was it, Shameless with William H. Macy?
He was in... Yeah.
He was on that. And like he was starting to get that. And I'm like, dude, you don't do that.
Oh,
and then he just drops dead. And I'm like, why? And, people are like, well, he was slightly overweight. I'm like...
But he lived his whole life.
Dude, he was like 39. Like he wasn't supposed to die. And Ric Carlo had, he had scars from being stabbed. Like he was a tough dude.
He was,
and he was a friend of mine. And like
mine too. He's a great guy.
And it really sucked to watch. And I seriously do blame that because there's only one connection I have.
I think that's not only should you be able to speak that, but it's important that we have voices that just speak honestly. It's like the label anti-vax has been used just like the label conspiracy theorist.
Yes.
Just to dismiss people. And it's like, but how about we talk about this? And to the people who are like, who don't even want to hear that conversation, again, I take you back to the cancer and baby powder. These people, they lie straight to your face for a profit. So, and they made money off of the vaccine. If there was no money made off of the vaccines, they'd have a better case, right? But the fact that Pfizer owned, it's copywritten. It's patented.
And then you look at other billionaires that have stock in it, and you look at Bill Gates and all these other people that were involved, and they're helping it, and they wanted to put it out there, and you're making all this money off of it. Then you tell hospitals will pay you more. Like, I was in New York when they brought that ship up, right? Because the hospitals were so overflowed. Do you remember how no one was on that ship ever? Because the hospitals were also never overflowed.
Well,
like there'd be days where they'd take out bodies, which you do, and it was like you'd go there with a camera crew and be like, look at all these corpses. It's like, well, that's any time that they're taken out of a hospital.
Right.
Like, it was all these lies that I was watching happen in real time.
They manipulate the reality to fit the narrative that they want to push.
And then there were people being shot, hit by buses, and they test them for COVID and go COVID,
and they deemed it
and we were
COVID,
watching
right?
it happen in New York, and it's like, that's an exaggeration. It's like, no, look it up.
No, isn't that exactly what happened with the
exactly-
governor of New York? What's his name?
Cuomo.
Cuomo, right? This guy who, again, remember when he was supposed to be president, he was like on the rise, and then.
And de Blasio, who was the worst mayor they've ever had. And then it goes into Eric Adams, who the second he steps out of line, all of a sudden an affair happened. He's a bad guy. The second that he starts speaking up
about the immigrant, oh my God, I love the Eric. I love the turn of Eric Adams, Tulsi Gabbard, Bobby RFK Jr. These are all people who Eric hasn't fully shifted yet, but you can see the second that people start speaking their mind in the Democratic Party.
What? Yeah, and he doesn't want. I think he wants to be a good mayor,
right?
And he's seeing a serious problem, and the second he acknowledges it, you're going to throw that at him. Like, I mean,
he was a part of the problem. It is funny too.
Yeah.
So, but I think we have to hold space for people who recognize their mistake, right? Like that's the thing, is that you can't demonize these people. It's like, okay, if Jake Tapper or whoever it is, Cuomo, what's the other guy? Chris Cuomo. If he wants to start,
and his brother,
if he wants to start coming out, I see him kind of admitting that, like, oh, maybe we got some of the COVID stuff wrong, and people demonize him, like, oh no, you're the cause of it. It's like, no, we need to embrace people that like are backing away, even if it's done in bad faith. Still, we need to embrace that. We need to embrace people going, hey, maybe I was wrong, But
and you need to allow people to change and give them that.
Right.
Credibility instead of just hanging on to everything they ever did or said. Like, the idea that nobody can live down a mistake or what they thought, that we've become so unforgiving in this society, and that's why it is so hard for both those sides to meet up and have an actual conversation.
Right. Well, you know what Jesus said? Kill your enemies.
Yes, he goes.
As he was driving by in a Ferrari.
As he's driving
out
by.
of the window.
Hold grudges. No, I think you're right, and I appreciate you having this conversation. And I'd love to have you back.
I'd love to come back.
Yeah, Normal World. I'm gonna try to come with Sam, or if not, we'll figure it out.
Dude, come with Sam.
Yeah,
if you can, please do.
Yeah, I think this is what we need more of, man.
Yes.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.